Okay, I think this is working. I've tried to live stream horizontally, but it doesn't seem to be working. I wonder if I can rotate and still stay live. Oh, no, I can't. So I have to stream this way and apply my makeup. Okay. Well, hello. There's no one here yet, so I will just start doing my hair. So I got this Curlsmith Moisture Recipe Curl Conditioning Oil in Cream, leave-in cream for curly or coily hair. No idea how much to use, we'll just start with that much. I've taken a break from YouTube. I was off for about 3 weeks. I took a break from all of social media, mainly just because I was finding it like really overwhelming. I suffer with GAD anyway, that's generalized anxiety disorder. I've been diagnosed for best part of 20 years now. And it definitely flares up in everyday life. So one thing that was exacerbating how I was feeling was flicking around on apps, worrying about YouTube comments, subscriptions, views, especially when you put like a huge amount of effort into a video and then it gets like, I don't know, 15 views in a day or something, and you thought, wow, everyone's gonna like this, it's my best video that I've ever done, and yeah, maybe it's not. So I just thought a way to kind of break back into things as I do feel rusty would just be to do a random live where I don't put any pressure on myself and I just try to enjoy the process of filming again with no editing, because I'm not very good at editing, let's be fair. But I do like making videos and I love interacting with people on YouTube. That's the best thing about it. It's the commenting, commenting on other people's videos, making friends here. That's what I love to do. I know it's not supposed to be about subscribers and views and all the rest of it, but we all get caught up in these things. Same with like likes and all of that sort of stuff, and the whole Instagram, my life is perfect kind of thing. Someone has joined and I don't think they're interested in makeup. Maybe they like my Hull City shirt. This belongs to my husband, so maybe you'll be less interested in the video now. Coleraine, I'm from Cork in the Republic of Ireland. I actually don't know where Coleraine is. Apologies. Tell me where it is. Oh, Derry. God, yeah. Other side of the island. My wedding ring's here. Thanks for asking. There's my engagement ring and my wedding ring. So I'm just finger twisting my hair. If you missed the beginning of the video, I've just put this stuff in here, Curlsmith. I'm from Cork. Yeah, definitely Cork, but I've been living in the UK now for 13 years, so my accent's probably a bit affected. So apologies if it doesn't sound as authentic as it should. I'm actually going back to Cork in about a week to visit some friends. Will Katie make it number 3 tonight? I have no clue. You're asking the wrong person. I'm really sorry. I'm not into sports or anything, so you tell me. What do you think? It's like 26 degrees here right now in Manchester. I live in Manchester in the UK. It's unbelievably warm, humid, sweaty, whatever way you want to describe it. I've got all the windows open and it's so uncomfortable. That's why I'm wearing a team jersey for Hull City, which belongs to my husband, because it's the coolest thing I could find. I think it's nylon and it's just nice and cool. Someone here from India. Hello, I'm from Ireland, but I live in the UK. getting a lot of random comments. Okay, hey. So it's that kind of weather where it's sticky and humid and you just want to have like 10 showers a day. And I thought, as I've had a break from YouTube, I'll just come on and film something. It's really simple. What am I doing with my hair? So just finger coiling it. So you twist it around like this, but it helps to keep the curl. If you have a look at my other videos, I do have curly hair. So I've already put some sunscreen on. I've just used this one, which is like super moisturizing for anybody with dry skin. It's the Ultraviolet SPF 50 Queen Screen. Someone's asked me if I know someone. No, I don't. Just deciding what to use today. It's kind of hard to know. I buy a lot of stuff on Vinted. So I've got some new eyeshadow palettes that I wanted to try out. I picked up these two classic palettes. One is the Neutral Cool palette and one is the Neutral Warm palette from MAC. Got the two of these for like 20 quid, which is unbelievable. They're discontinued now. You can no longer buy them. And yeah, they would have been about 35 to 40 pounds each originally. So I think I'm going to start with those. My mirror is just here, so that's why I'm looking off to the side. Yeah, getting some really weird comments. I might have to do something about who can view this. I don't know anybody in India. It's nice to see people watching the video, but I'm not sure you're all here for makeup, but we'll see. I could be wrong. So, first thing I'm going to do is I need to decide which palette I'm going to use. So, again, we've got Neutral Warm and Neutral Cool. I'm leaning towards the cool one, actually. So, let's start with this. So it does have some classic MAC shades in here, some of which are discontinued. So when I was looking for this palette, I noticed that it has lots of great shades in here that are no longer available. One of them is Black Tide, that's definitely discontinued. Cumulus is also discontinued, as is Silver Fog, as is Cozy Grey. Brawn, I think, is still available. Blackberry is discontinued, I believe. And then I think Sweet Allure might have been limited edition. So this is what the palette looks like, and I'm going to be using this one today. So we're going to an event this evening, and I think I'll probably do like kind of a smoky eyeshadow style today. Sorry, this is really disconcerting seeing the viewers go up and down, but yeah, I'll get used to it. Right, so let's start. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a large powder brush like this, and I'm going to dust some just eye brightening powder on top of my eyes. This one's just from Catrice. I've shown this one before. I have quite discolored eyelids because my skin is so fair. You can see like all the veins and stuff in my eyes, but I'm not going to bother concealing them or anything just because it's so hot. I think the fewer products that I use, the better, because everything's just going to melt otherwise. So let's choose what to use. I think I'm going to start, blowing away the dust, I think I'm going to start with this shade here and just use that through my crease as a transition shade. I'm going to pick up a smaller but still quite a fluffy brush. This one here, it's just from Real Techniques, and I'm dipping into that shade that I pointed out in the palette. So you can see as I put it on, it's just a little bit darker than my skin, and that's going to help all the other eyeshadows just blend into one another. I think this is the first time I've ever worn a football jersey, actually. That's probably a criminal thing to say, living in Manchester, which is probably like the football capital or the football capital city of the world. Like Manchester United is probably the most famous team of all time. But I'm from Ireland and we're not really into that into football. We're more into like GAA and stuff like that. Well, I say we. I'm not particularly into it as I was woeful at sports at school. But generally, as a nation, we prefer our own traditional sports. So that's just a nice transition shade. I'm going to pick one of these other shades, maybe Brun, which is right here. And I'm going to put that in the crease as well, but I'm going to use a smaller brush. So when you have quite small eyes like I do, it's better to use smaller brushes. It gives you more control over what goes where. So this is just a really small one from the Sigma and Samantha Ravndal collection. This is the shader crease. So I'm picking up a little bit of Brun, just a tiny, tiny amount. I've never actually owned Brun before, so this is a new MAC shadow for me. I'm just going to see what that looks like. Yeah. So again, I have so much control because I've used such a small brush rather than something bigger or fluffier and things get a little bit everywhere. So the event that we're getting ready for, or I'm getting ready for, my husband's already ready. He literally just showers, shaves, and he's done. It's the final gig of a local band here in Manchester that have gotten quite popular over the years. I think they're going like close to 20 years. They're called Footprints in the Custard. I think there's a couple of support bands. I'm not sure if we're going to catch those or not. To be honest, I'm mainly going just to be like sociable. But yeah, it's always a nice excuse to doll up for something. You know, I haven't done like a full glamorous look in ages. I'm not really sure why I've chosen the hottest day of the year to do this, but you know, why not? Lots of Urban Decay all-nighter setting spray will definitely help everything to stay on. Can see a couple of you have joined me. Hello. So that was Brun. I'm just going to go back to the original brush that I started with, this Real Techniques one, and buff in more of that transition color. So it's this one here from the MAC Cool Tone Neutrals palette. We'll just kind of mesh those two together. I do take for fucking ever doing my eyeshadow as well. If I'm doing a proper look, like I really do spend ages on it. So we could be here for a while, but I don't really mind that. Again, this video wasn't really like meant to be about loads of viewership or anything. This was more me trying to get back into filming and being on camera. I did have a little break as I found social media was just getting a bit too much. I'm going to take this color called French Clay, and I'm going to just place that with the same brush over my eyelid. Oh, that's quite nice. I'm not really sure what I'm doing yet. I'm kind of just playing around with colors. This is a brand new palette to me. There is a really beautiful color in the corner called Pearled Earth, and it's a Velux pearl finish. This one, I think I'm gonna make that like the primary color for the look. So I'm gonna take a flat sort of definer brush. This one's just an old one from Urban Decay, and I'm dipping into this color called Pearled Earth. And I'm going to start building that up from the outer corner. Oh, that is nowhere near as pigment as I thought it was going to be. Okay, go in with some more. Blow away the fallout. This is why I always do my eyes first if I'm going for quite an intense, sparkly or dark look. I'm going to bring a little bit of that into the crease as well. The thing I love about MAC eyeshadows is they blend into one another so well, and you end up with the most beautiful diffused smoky eyes. I think because I've been using them for, oh God, like 16 years now, I'm just so used to the formulas that I know how to work with them. I know how to get the best out of them, and I always end up with a look that I'm quite happy with. Every time you try a new formula, you kind of have to get used to how they work. Like it took me a while to get used to the Natasha Denona formulas for a while, because they are quite intensely pigmented and they blend differently than other eyeshadows that I've used in the past. So every time I try a new eyeshadow formula or even sometimes a new palette from the same company, like some of Natasha Denona's vary, you kind of have that getting used to it phase where you learn how to use the colors. And again, lots of things look different in the pan than they do on the eye. Some things will swatch much better than they really look on the eyes as well. So there's a lot of sort of what's the word? Like discrepancies between what you see in the pan and then how it's going to perform on your eye. I'm also sort of getting to a point where I'm not seeing a dramatic difference in quality between high-end and drugstore makeup anymore. Like there's very few things that you can only buy from luxury brands that cannot be duped by drugstore makeup now. The main thing I think is just the variety and scope of the colors, especially when it comes to things like brow products. Like no one's going to have a range as broad and well thought out as a brand like Benefit. You know, you're just not going to get that from like Maybelline or Rimmel or any of the smaller brands because they don't invest the same sort of time in their color ranges and money, I suppose. So I'm just going to go back in with that fluffy blending brush that I've already misplaced. I can't find it, so I'm just going to use a different one. So I read a long time ago that a lot of makeup artists don't use grey as they don't think it's a very flattering color on a lot of people. For me, I think grey eyeshadow looks pretty awesome, especially like silvers and greys and like sparkly blacks and things like that. I think they look awesome, but I guess some of it's down to personal taste. I also think that when all the warm tones became really popular, maybe like 6, 7 years ago, it pushed all those sort of neutral and cooler tones out of fashion. Um, and I thought for a minute that we might have a moment for cool toned eyeshadows because you had things like ColourPop Stone Cold Fox came out, that was really popular, and there was a few others as well. But it didn't seem to take off in such a big way as the warm tones did. Like, does everyone remember when Urban Decay Naked Heat came out? Like, that was just crazy, the hype that that got, you know? It was a real, you know, sort of mania moment in makeup. Like, everyone had to get Urban Decay Naked Heat. It was the same with the ABH Modern Renaissance palette. And again, that's just full of warm tones. And like, neither of those palettes really suited me. I could kind of make Urban Decay Naked Heat work. I still have it somewhere. Um, but like it always looks like you've tried really hard when you use that palette. That's always the vibe that I got from it. So yeah, not one of my favorites. It looks amazing on other people, but I just don't think it was the best for me. I'm going to take a bit of Black Tide, which is this darkest color in the palette, and I'm going to put that into my outer corner with a small pencil brush, just this one here. That's it there. So Black Tide has been around forever. I don't know if they make this anymore. I thought it was discontinued. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know they definitely don't make Beauty Marked anymore, which was a really similar shade that had like red sparkle in it. So it was a black base with red sparkle. And the let's just be honest, the pigmentation on Beauty Marked, it looked incredibly beautiful in the pan and it looked shite on the eyes. The only way I ever really got it to work was with in combination with a few other shadows, and you had to use like a red base to get the red sparkles to show up. Like the things that we did back in the day, because no better formulas existed. I mean, again, I still really like the MAC formulas, but there were some serious duds in there as well. And like Beauty Marked was one of those ones that looked incredible in the pan, and then it was awful on the eyes unless you kind of really jumped through hoops to use it. What are your favorite MAC eyeshadows, or do you have any memories of going to buy some MAC eyeshadows? I know a lot of people have like stories about like this was my first ever high-end product from MAC, you know, and I remember going in with my pocket money that I'd earned from my part-time job. Everyone seems to have a story like that. So let me know, what was your first, it doesn't have to be MAC, but what was your first high-end purchase that you really remember? I think my sister got me Black Track Fluid Line for Christmas, and it was a gel eyeliner from MAC, and I had absolutely no clue how to use it. I think I was like 17, and I'd been using the Rimmel Exaggerate liquid liner for many years, and like gel eyeliner is just a different beast. I just couldn't get a handle on it. I still don't use gel eyeliner. They're not really that popular anymore anyway, but yeah, could not get it to work. Right, so I feel like this is the never-ending eye look. I'm gonna try and get this done and just blend out the edges, and I will come back to the eyes later. I tend to do that where I'll get the basics on and get in the shape and most of the colors, and then after I've done the rest of my makeup, I'll come back and sort of perfect it. I'll probably do a couple of coats of mascara, and a thin line of liquid liner. Famous last words, right? Okay, so what liquid liner do I even have at the minute? I've got the Essence Liquid Ink. I keep meaning to buy another one, and then I just forget when I'm makeup shopping because there are way more interesting things to buy than a replacement liquid eyeliner. So I'm just going to wipe some of the excess off because I do want quite a thin line. And then I'm basically thinking this as a sort of like just volume lift for my lashes. I don't really want to do a wing. Again, probably famous last words. I've noticed now that I'm over 30, it's harder to do a wing because my eyelids have dropped. Sorry, not my eyelids. My brow has dropped a little bit. So basically, my wing isn't where it's meant to be anymore when I try and draw it on because my eye is more hooded than it used to be. Has anyone else had that problem? Or is it just me? So I can still do a wing, but it has to be more of like a bat wing style. And the makeup artist who did my makeup for my wedding did like an amazing job on the bat wing style because she has a similar eye shape to mine, and it was absolutely beautiful on the day. If I could have her to do my eyeliner every day, I'd wear bat wing eyeliner every day. I can do it, but probably not as well as her. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more on this eye above my pupil because I'm sure you've already noticed this, but looking at me dead on, I have a lot more lid space on this eye than I do on this eye. So to make my eyes look more symmetrical, I make this line a little bit thicker on this side so that my eyes look more even and, less odd. That was a terrible explanation. I hope you'll understand when I do the line. So it's just ever so slightly thicker. I don't know if it will even be noticeable, but it's noticeable to me. And if it makes me feel better, I'm gonna do it. Okay, the next thing that I'm going to do is probably brows, actually. But before I do that, I just want to share a tip with everybody, especially people that do wear skincare, sunscreen, especially every day, especially a greasy sunscreen like I wear. And I mean greasy in a good way. It's this ultraviolet one that I showed earlier in case you missed it. It's incredibly hydrating. It's brilliant for my dry skin, but like I'm shiny, okay? And you won't think about it immediately, but some of that residue is actually in my eyebrows or your eyebrows when you put your own on. So take a Q-tip and rub it through your eyebrows, and you will be amazed at what comes off, okay? There is a ton of product stuck in there. There's even a bit of eyeshadow, like, and I don't even think I put eyeshadow up there. I don't think I did. No, I didn't do any highlighting. But this will remove all the greasy film from your skincare or whatever you've put on your skin, whether it's hyaluronic acid serums or like me, a sunscreen. And it's going to be so much easier now to apply my brow makeup. I used to wonder what the hell is wrong with my brow pen? Why isn't it working? And it was actually because I hadn't taken the product off my brows. So I did get several new brow products the other day. One of them is from e.l.f. It's the Holy Strokes Micro Fine Brow Pen. I bought 3 different brow pens the other day. So this one was one of them. I also got one from Rimmel, and I got one, the new L'Oreal one, the one that looks like Batman. I got that one as well. So if I can get this out of the packaging, it's being quite difficult here. Aha, just break it. If in doubt, just rip. So this is in the color taupe, and I have no idea if this is going to be any good. I'm going to give it just a shake. Oh, wow. So that is a super fine tip. I would not call that a taupe color, however. I think that looks more like a blonde, but we'll see. So I'm just going to start at the end of my brow because I have no idea how pigmented this is going to be. Is that even doing anything? I don't think so. I'm really pushing with this pen and nothing is happening. Oh dear. Right, let's try a bit on the other side. Did I actually spend £7 on a brow product that has no pigment? Let me try my hand. Oh wow. That's all I've managed to get out of taupe brow pen. Right. It does say shake well. I did shake it, maybe not enough. I'm going to just let this sit upside down, and maybe it's going to be better on a different day. Okay, let's go to plan B. I'm going to use a different brow pencil. Let me find the Rimmel one that I bought if I can. I probably could have been a bit more organized with where I put everything. Where is that brow pen gone? Okay, the one I wanted to use I can't find. Let's try this MUA one. This was only £3, so let's see what this looks like. Oh, that's not bad actually. Okay, I can deal with that. I wouldn't say it really gives hair-like strokes. I do still feel like I'm using a marker pen, but not bad. I've never heard anyone talk about those elf pens, and I've never heard anyone talk about these MUA pens either. Could it be they're not very good? That doesn't look too bad, but again, I'm not going to yell from the rooftops that everybody should go out and buy this because, yeah, it's not the most amazing pigment. Yeah, I think I need an inkier pen rather than a marker pen. But look, we'll come back to it. If all else fails, I'll just go back to my Benefit and my Glossier for my brows, and that's fine as well. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is put on some mascara. I do have a new mascara to try, but I think I'm going to save that for my next proper video. So I'm just going to use my Benefit Fan Fest. I do really like this one. And before I put that on, I'm going to curl my eyelashes with my Shiseido eyelash curler. Gonna grip that again as I didn't really get the ones right in the corner. Kind of looks like a torture device, doesn't it? This is another thing that Benefit does really well is mascara. Mascara and brows, I think, are their best products in my opinion. Okay. God, even my eyelashes feel sweaty today. I can't grip them properly. It's so warm. I really like how unclumpy this mascara is, the Fan Fest from Benefit. Like I can keep going and going and going and layering it and it never clumps. And considering I have quite thick, short eyelashes, like that's really a bonus for me. I also really like the Max Factor False Lash Effect, but you have to put about 10,000 coats on before you can actually see it. But the wand is really good. So I wonder sometimes about like keeping mascara wands that you really like and trying them with formulas that don't necessarily work for you. So like if I took the wand from the Max Factor False Lash Effect and used it with like a different formula that was like too wet or something or too thick, would it make a difference? I don't know. If you've ever tried that, please do let me know because I'm always curious. Like, are there ways to make things work? Just because the applicator doesn't work, maybe the product in there is still good. Because let's face it, like mascaras can be very expensive. So if something isn't working, we've got to try our best to figure out a way to use it. Right, so I am still sweating and I am still shiny, but let's try and put a base product on. So my foundation collection has exploded since I started a YouTube channel. Now, most of the products, well, yeah, I would say a good 60% are from the drugstore, but I do have like quite a few high-end ones as well. I've got like Shiseido Revital Essence, I've got two Fenty foundations, I've got MAC, I've got the Lisa Eldridge one, And is there anything else I've got? Oh, I've got two Shiseido foundations actually. I forgot about that. And then I have loads of different drugstore ones as well. So I'm not even sure what to wear today, but I can tell you whatever I choose, I'm going to be setting it with a shitload of Laura Mercier translucent setting powder because it's going to be a warm one. It's already like 26 degrees outside, so whatever foundation I'm using, it needs to be set with powder. So let's have a look at my drawer. I don't think I need any more shine, so let's go for something that isn't really a glowy foundation, but with good staying power. Hmm. Something is drawing me to the Lisa Eldridge today, so I think I'm going to go with this one. This is the foundation, the Seamless Skin Foundation. I'm going to put about 4 pumps of that on the back of my hand. The pumps are absolutely tiny, like that's 4 pumps. It is quite a liquidy foundation, as you can see it running down my hand there. And I wear the shade 2. It was kind of shocking to not be the lightest shade. I could wear shade 1, but I was matched to shade 2. And to be fair, it's pretty much a dead ringer for my face. So I'm just applying this with like a flat top kabuki brush from Sigma. It's a really old one. I think these were called like the Sigmax brushes. Does anyone remember that? Yeah. Angled top kabuki F84. Like they definitely don't even have that numbering system anymore. I don't even know if they sell the same brushes now. They were probably their best original brushes. Because when Sigma started many years ago, they kind of tried to rip off all the Mac brushes and they even put the same numbering system on them. And then a YouTuber called Mischievous kind of called them out, and it was like, yeah, your brushes are good, but could you not, use identical numbering systems and maybe like try and create your own stuff? And she did praise these kabuki brushes. There's an angled one, there's a flat top one, and there's a round one. I have all three of them. And they are absolutely fantastic, dense brushes for applying cream products. So I've used them on this channel mainly for foundation, but you can use them for probably things like bronzer, etc. as well. Obviously, I don't really wear things like bronzer, but Right, so I still have quite a bit on my hand, but as you can see, the coverage is light. It's not a dewy finish. I would say this is a satin finish. I just already had some radiance going on from the sun, shall we say. I've noticed I have this like new like freckle or mark on my nose here that I'm now having to cover up. Yay, yay for me. I don't understand people that use all these like freckle pens and stuff because if you actually had freckles, you wouldn't want them. But I guess when you use these freckle pens, you get to place them in like a really flattering way rather than one big random one up here or a random one here or here. You're going to put them in this like cutesy area here. So I guess freckle pens are just something I don't really understand as a freckly person. I'm not as freckly as I used to be, and I put that down mainly to using sunscreen religiously. So I mean, freckles are essentially just skin damage. So if you are freckly, it's your sun's reaction to the skin. Oh my God, your skin's reaction to the sun. What am I talking about? This is what happens when I try and do more than one thing at once. Okay, so that's foundation on. Let's choose a concealer to wear. I think I'm going to go with my Hourglass concealer today. This is in the shade 04 Fair Neutral. I am not the same color in the foundation. The 04 Fair Neutral foundation is too dark for me, which was really annoying. I don't know why they can't just correspond. But I'm just going to pop this under my eyes, same spots that I always do. So I do one kind of in the sweep where I'm very purple, then a little spot in here where I'm very blue, and a little bit on the outside just to tidy up eyeshadow and kind of lift my eye. I always tend to pat this in with my ring finger. There are children outside, if anyone can hear that. Windows are open. It's too hot to not have them open. So although the UK doesn't get like super, super high temperatures, really like in the 30s and 40s. The heat here is different. It's like the intense humidity is just awful. You move at all and you're sweating. Like it's not a dry heat, it's a very, very wet, humid, sticky, sweaty heat. I just like to complain, let's be fair. I complain when it's cold, I complain when it rains, I complain when it's too hot. I think my ideal weather is like 17, 18 degrees and partly sunny, like partly sunny, partly cloudy. That's my dream weather. I just want it to be like that all the time. Essentially t-shirt weather, but it's not that hot. I had no idea I was going to ramble so much on this live. I think that's just what happens, especially when like people aren't really commenting now. I've stopped getting all the weird random comments I got at the beginning, and now it's just me talking to myself for the last 40 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna set that with the Catrice Under Eye Brightener Setting Powder, this one here. I know what's gonna happen. I'll just have people like unsubscribe because they're like, wow, this woman's really weird. Oh well. So to apply this, I'm going to use one of these little triangles that I got from Amazon. I'm just picking that up from the lid and then packing that on under my eye. This is a little bit dark for me, despite needing to be called a brightening powder, just because I'm so fair. But I find as long as I don't use too much, you don't really notice it because it is a really good setting powder. Okay, so that's just an under eye setting powder. I'm going to set the rest of my face with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. It's time to bring in the big guns because it is so warm. I can feel my face sweating already. So again, I'm just doing the same sort of thing, just on a much bigger scale. I'm tapping this into the lid and I'm going to take that, probably on the same little puff actually, no harm. Just pressing that into the skin. It is going to mattify somewhat, but I don't really mind that because it's such a warm day. I'm going to have some little amount of oil breaking through, even on my dry skin. I just don't want my foundation to melt off, basically. Trying to get in around my nose rings. I do have two. Nobody wants a sweaty upper lip, right? Okay, so that's my face set. You can still actually see a little bit of radiance coming through. So again, I'm not really worried about that. I'm gonna use probably a contour powder rather than a liquid, again, just to prevent meltiness during the day. Let's see what I've got in here. I have got, this is a really nice product. I think I've shown this before. This is my custom Inglot palette that I got. Oh, it's a good while ago. They were shutting one of their stores, I think in Blanchardstown, I want to say, in Ireland when I was visiting family. And I just sort of nipped in and went, ooh, there's some quite good stuff in here. So I'm going to take that on this old Sigma brush. I think it's meant to be a highlighter brush, but I'm going to make sure that I wipe it off there. I'm just going to put this in the hollows of my cheeks, or you know, if I had visible cheekbones where I'd want them to show up. And the colors of the Inglot sculpting powders are really, really good. Like they're probably the best ones I've used. I tried to buy the Sephora one that's meant to be like pretty much grey, but I couldn't find it in store in the Trafford Centre. So I don't know, maybe they just don't stock it, or maybe it was out of stock, but I couldn't even see where it was supposed to be. So, and they do have quite a lot of the Sephora collection in that shop, so that was kind of weird. I don't know. Maybe I was just having a blonde moment and couldn't find it. So I'm gonna quite heavily contour my forehead, as always, to make my 5 head become a 4 head. This brush has clearly seen better days. It's starting to leave like little hairs on my face, so it might be looking for retirement. Yeah, I've got one up here. So the main thing I would say is when you are contouring, make sure you get right into the hairline, because if you leave like a white line, it just looks so unnatural. So try and get right into the corner of the hair. Like you just need to be careful when you're washing it off then in the evening that you're actually getting right into the corner. If your hair gets a little bit damp, oh well, like you're still getting your makeup off. So yeah, like just going right up here so that there is no gap between the contour and your hairline. It needs to all be covered. Another contour I'd really like to try is the Fenty one, Amber, I think it's called. That's meant to be quite cool toned. But the funny thing is, when I hear about all these cool tone contours, they at best they tend to just look neutral on me. Because like this looks really, really grey in the pan, and then look at it on my face. It's neutral, I would say. It's not cool. But yeah, what can you do? Problems of having cool toned skin. Right, I'm gonna bring that around my jaw as well, because you know, who doesn't want a more defined jaw? And if you've gone a little bit over the top, the powders are soft enough where you can just sort of, you know, rub it out with your fingers a little bit. I tend to go over it with my foundation brush anyway if I feel like there's any unevenness. To be fair, this looks even in the mirror that I'm looking in, and then not when I'm looking straight into the camera. And I think that's because of the way the light is coming in through the window. So yeah, trust me, it's pretty even. It's okay. She says, fixing it again. Right, I don't know whether to revisit the brows or not. I certainly need to revisit them at some point, but I don't know if now is the right time. I'm gonna put some Glossier Boy Brow through them, if I can find it. Why can't I find anything today? Maybe I've put it in the wrong drawer. This happens to me a lot where I'm absent-mindedly tidying and then I can't find something because I've put it in the wrong place. Because I'm desperate for things to look neat and tidy, and then I misplace things. So let me see if I can find it. No, it just doesn't want to be used today. So I'm going to go in with the Benefit 24-hour brow setter instead. I wanted to use the Glossier Boy Brow because it's a coloured one. I've got the, oh god, I don't even remember what the colour is called. I think it's just called brown or something. Because that is a really good shade. And again, this is like what I was talking about earlier with like higher end brow products tend to be better. The brands just, they nail the colours, whereas you can get some very strange colours for your eyebrows at the drugstore. It's just one of those things. I don't really like too fluffy an eyebrow look, but because I don't have a lot of hairs to begin with, if I can fluff them up a small bit to make my brows look a little bit bigger, I will. But I definitely like the tail to be quite like pointed, and I do like the arch to be quite visible as well. Okay, so that's already improved the brows a little bit. I'm going to let that set, and then what I might do is put either a little bit of powder or a different brow pen through them. I mean, how many brow products have I used at this point? It's getting ridiculous. Okay, so next thing I am going to do is I'm going to put on some blush. Not really sure what blush to use today. This Hourglass palette is sort of calling me. Please ignore all the fingerprints. If you have any of these palettes, you know that they look stunning, but they are horrific for fingerprints. And I'm just going to look here and see if there's anything that's calling me. I think maybe this one, which I believe is Mood Exposure. Let me just check. Yeah, it's Mood Exposure. So I think I might use a little bit of this one. I'm never really sure if any of Hourglass's blushes actually suit me. Sorry, that was something moving in the drawer. I'm going to try this on now, and you can just tell me one way or the other, because I'm not convinced that they even suit me. Even something as cool toned and plummy as Mood Exposure. Well, first of all, I don't even know if we can see this. It's also annoying in these palettes, like they're quite small. So when you're trying to pick up a color, it can be quite difficult to not hit the pan next to it. Like I certainly don't want this one. I know that doesn't suit me. I did see the like sneak peek that came out of the new holiday ones. I mean, they're not holiday really, they come out in August. And I'm really not sure how I feel about any of those. I actually think the middle palette looks better. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me. Um, so I don't know if I'll buy one. I think the jellyfish palette came out 2 years ago, which was meant for pale skin from Hourglass, and I so regret not buying it. And the only one that I can see is on Vinted for like £235, which I'm just never going to pay. So yeah. What can you do, right? Okay, so that's mood exposure on me. And again, I'll show you it in the pan and like how incredibly different it looks. So there's it in the pan, there's it on me. So I don't really know what's going on, but and again, I may have accidentally hit this one, but I tried my best not to, I swear. Okay, right. Um, do I wear highlight on the hottest day of the year? Well, seeing as we've kept everything else kind of satiny matte, maybe we should do. My absolute favorite highlighter in this world is the Rodial one. So let me see if I can find that. Ugh, why can I never find anything? Hiss, you're never around when I need you. No, of course I can't find it because I'm looking for it. Okay, we'll do something else instead. Oh, no, it's here. It's here. It's here. It's here. Okay. Right. So this is the Rodial Glass Highlighter in Champagne Glow. Now, I can't remember what I got this in. I'm sure it was an advent calendar. It might have been the Space NK one, but I genuinely cannot remember. This is absolutely not a product that I would have bought myself because, well, number one, it's called Champagne Glow and it actually looks quite dark in the tube. Also, I've never used anything from Rodial before. I know nothing about the brand. So this never would have made it into my shopping basket, but I freaking love it. So I'm just going to put a little bit up here and a little bit up here. The applicator is just like a little doe foot. And then I'm going to take a small brush and blend that in. I should probably use a synthetic brush. Ah yeah, this one will do. And then I'm just kind of blending the edges really. Probably should have started with this side first as it's been sitting there for longer, but oh well. Might need a bit more on the other side. Again, I think it's just the way the light's coming in from the window. Like everything on this side of my face seems to look darker, even though in the mirror it looks fine. Okay, right. So what do we have left to do? I need another coat of mascara. So I'm going back to the Benefit Fan Fest. Again, this is a great one because it doesn't really clump, even on my thick, stumpy eyelashes. I already put like quite a thick first coat on, so I don't really need loads more. For my bottom eyelashes, I'm going to use my absolute favourite, which is the MAC Extended Play Giga Black Lash. This just gives me those big sort of like doll eye eyelashes that I always like. I'm trying desperately hard not to have my mouth hanging open. This really gives me eyelashes I didn't even know I had. Like even right in the corner there, I was supposed to be doing my bottom eyelashes and then I found like 4 new eyelashes that were trapped in that corner. Look. Ooh. Other side. Again, you can get right in here where you didn't even know there were eyelashes and they will just magically grow with this mascara. I don't really like it for my top eyelashes. It's fine if I just want a little bit of darkening, but it doesn't give a whole lot of volume or curl. But, you know, if you already have quite curly eyelashes, it might work quite well. Oh, damn it, I did the mouth hanging open. I don't think you saw. Maybe I shouldn't have gotten myself in trouble there. I'll probably revisit these in a minute anyway. I like to touch up everything about 10 times before I leave the house. So I'm actually not going out for ages, but I want to see how this makeup wears for a few hours before I go out to see if I need to make any adjustments. Oh yeah, that's a sexy face. Oh yeah. Also quite handy, this one, for combing out any clumps that you have got on the top. I don't really have any, but sometimes I just go bing bing because why not? Okay, so again, I feel my face sweating already, so I'm going to put on some of this e.l.f. Dewy Setting Spray, just because it feels so cooling, not really because it sets much. Well, to be fair, I've not really tested it out that much. The mist is so incredibly fine that I feel like I have to do about 10,000 sprays before it does anything. I'm then going to use the OG Urban Decay All Nighter. I've gone through so many bottles of this. Such a good feeling. I tried the one size one in store the other day actually, and it's fucking awful. It's just like putting hairspray straight onto your face. Oh, yeah, I know, girl. It's so hot. But I just want to see how it goes. I mean, at least I have dry skin. I feel really, really sorry for anybody with oily skin today who's trying to look glamorous and wear makeup, because God help you. It's hard for all of us, but it's especially hard for those people. Right, so let's see what's left to do. Sometimes I will take a Q-tip and then go around my piercings. Someone told me to use micellar water with this. I found that I'm too messy, and then I just ended up wiping all the makeup off my nose. So I just use a regular old dry Q-tip. Okay, the other side of the Q-tip, I'm taking any foundation and probably dead skin off my lip. I have dry lips like all year round. Like, they're constantly peeling, flaky, etc. It's really annoying now. But yeah, let me know if you have that problem as well. I also have a bad habit of like biting the skin on my lips when I get like nervous or whatever. It's just like an anxious habit. So they're never in the best of conditions. Right, so lipstick. So the top I'm wearing is, I probably could show you actually. It's from a band called Mortician, and it's got like, it's mainly black, and then it has like little bits of like blue and grey in it, which is kind of why I went for a grey smoky eye. And then I think there's a tiny bit of red on it, probably because there's, you know, blood or dismemberment or carcasses or something. So I might do a red lip. What am I talking about? Of course I'm going to do a red lip. It's me. But I'm gonna leave that until later today. So for now, just because my lips are a bit torn up, I'm gonna use the By Terry Balm de Rose. I don't think this is the most amazing lip balm in the world, but it's so bloody thick, it does stay on, and it will moisturize them somewhat. After this, I'll probably just blend out my eyeshadow a bit more. My tip for eyeshadow and blending is blend as much as you think you need to, and then blend even more. So I'm just going to go in with a small-ish pointed blending brush. If you joined me late, I used the now discontinued but sometimes still available on Vinted MAC Cool Neutrals palette. I got this one and the warm one for like 20 quid. It was an absolute steal, and there are loads of classic and some now discontinued MAC shades in there. So if you can find it, absolutely brilliant. It's just something about MAC eyeshadows. So again, I'm just checking if they're even. And again, I feel like this side looks darker than this side in the light, but you know, it's fine. Okay, I think that's me finally done. And I've only taken an hour to do my hair and makeup. That's not that long at all in my Hull City shirt. If you have any questions or comments, if you have any requests, etc., please don't be afraid to message me. I don't think they have a direct messaging service anymore on not Instagram, on YouTube, which makes me kind of sad. So just leave a comment anywhere, either on this video or any of my other ones, if you want me to do any reviews, if you have any requests of particular looks or whatever. I'm gonna just blend out this bottom line now because that's also annoying me. But yeah, it's been fun. I think this was a good way to get back into videos after a really long break. And thank you very much for watching. I'll see some of you at the gig. Bye.